So last week, I told Veronica if she would keep her kids out of her videos and clean her house and do all this other shit, then I would make one less video about her. Well, she failed. So now I got to make a video.
So this is Anora, and this is who we're going to be talking about today. I have not spoken about her in, I think it's about 10 months or something. I had a little look at the last time I spoke about her, and it was a long time ago. There is so much stuff has been going on. I've kind of forgot this channel even existed. They're an extremely small channel. I can't really speak. I'm pretty small myself. However, they supposedly once upon a time used to kind of belong in the same niche that myself and other people are in, which is, chatting about family vloggers, chatting about mummy influencers. Child exploitation comes in there. I'll always stand by it. It's not the only thing I talk about. Sometimes I'm talking about things that pertain to the negative effects of exploiting your children online, a bit more heavy topic. And then other times I'm talking about, I don't know, latest news, latest things that are going on to do with the mummy vloggers, family vloggers themselves, even if it doesn't specifically pertain to the children. Now, this is Anora, and I've spoken about her, like I've just said before. I have come into crossfires with her. She had it out for me not that long ago, where she called me this.
And, Amy the Brit, she decided to...
I can't stand her. I
throw my name. Yeah, she throws my name out there like we're besties now. You want me to keep your name out of my mouth, and you keep my name out of your mouth.
And today is just simply her lucky day, because here I am talking about her again 10 months later. Now, the reasoning as to why I'm talking about her, and the reason why I ever have had an issue with her channel, is because back about 10 months ago, she was one of the people to be platforming someone known as BioMom. If you're not aware, with the DOUGHERTY DOZEN, Alicia has some adopted children. She has 2 children who are placement children. And some people took it upon themselves to basically give a platform to the biological mum to 2 of the children who are kinship placements. And this was a bad idea. Firstly, because there is obviously just so much stuff that you do not know about the reasons as to why those children came into Alicia's care. Stuff which goes beyond anything Alicia has ever shown ever. We know she exploits her children online, but she never really went into a ton of details as to why those 2 children were there. She has done it with her other ones. Then have Anora over here platforming this woman who would go off on Twitter rampages. Anora was even going so far as to try and raise money for somewhere for this woman to live. And then it all comes to fruition that actually the mum was failing drug tests, failing this and that. And it was honestly like the biggest mess ever. Anora was quite literally on live streams with this woman and this other woman that she used to do them with for hours, just because I didn't like Alicia. Honestly, the whole thing was an absolute fever dream, and that happened, I think, beginning of this year. Yeah, I think it was beginning of this year. Honestly, it's so strange it even happened. And basically all of Anora's channel used to focus on Alicia. She didn't have anyone else to talk about. When she tried rebranding herself, because I called her out, other people called her out, she lost a lot of subscribers, she lost a lot of attention. People stopped watching her because they kind of realised that Anora goes off on one.
Alicia, come here. Come real close, because I got something to tell you. Stop buying clothes for your kids. Go ahead and make your little videos about what I exposed, but you know what you're doing is you're missing the goddamn point.
The reasoning as to why I have raised the Anora alarm, I've allowed you all to come flock to me today, it's because of something which I've actually seen other commentary channels cover. I've seen Cursed Eye cover this. I've seen Not Another Housewife. I'm so sorry. It's because I have to say Not Enough Nelsons all the blooming time. Not Another Housewife. There you go. I have seen these 2 creators covering this, and I hadn't really looked at Anora in a very long time. I was very shocked to see that she has not only stopped covering Alicia, because she's now found a new target. She's now targeting this mad mama. Now, I talk about this mad mama, aka Veronica. I try and not go too deep on her. I do try. There's quite a few There's quite a few things that make me quite sad, a few points that I do bring up, but as a whole, she's not the only person I cover. I'm not really going to go into too much deep, dark detail on just about every little thing that she does. But Anora most certainly will. And she's done it again, guys. She's literally gone, she's made another content creator, her whole entire channel. The only person she'll cover is Veronica. And she's decided to do a BioMom 2.0. She's decided to go behind the scenes and start digging through criminal records. She started digging through housing records. She's managed to find out who owns the house that Veronica lives in. Who cares? How is this related? How is this related to child exploitation? How? I swear it even says in Anora's bio that this is what her channel is about. How is you going, a gotcha moment? It's not actually, it's actually, Veronica and her ex-husband who owns the house. Who cares? Who owns a house? It doesn't even matter. And not only that, but I'm going to revisit what I just said in the fact that she's managed to go through criminal records. And this bit does annoy me because as much as a lot of the stuff that Veronica does, I don't agree with it. I wouldn't parent in the same way, but that's not what we're talking about. I don't like the overexposure of a kid. She does some stuff which I do think is very, very concerning. But never in a million years would I use the fact that she was pretty much groomed by her ex-husband. Okay, I'll let Veronica explain this little bit because it's extremely sad. Veronica was 14 years old when she basically managed to have 2 children with her very first husband, who was 18 years old.
Pregnant in middle school at 14 years old. The father was 18. Why do I always say he didn't groom me?
Now, Veronica's explanation as to why he didn't groom her was the fact that she, in her own words, was a psycho or a crazy little whatever. She used to follow him around, kind of stalk him and all of this until eventually he caves in and they had a baby. I'm pretty sure he's father to 2 children. Okay, but I've watched Veronica for a long enough time. She doesn't really mention him that often. He's not the other husband, the other ex-husband who gets mentioned quite a lot, the other one who supposedly actually still lives in the house with them. That is not the same person. She doesn't really mention this one that often, and there's probably a very good reasoning. She says that he is abusive. She says that he's not a nice man. I mean, she doesn't like either of them, but particularly this one. Now, Anora decided to go behind the scenes, which is exactly what she did last year. She decided to go behind the scenes and find criminal records which basically show that he is an SO. He is a registered sex offender. I don't really want to look at the details. I'm not entirely sure what's happening over here, but Veronica does state very clearly that, he wasn't allowed to have access to the children because of the age difference. And Veronica should be able to see that. Obviously, it's not a normal, and he was 110% in the wrong for this because authorities wouldn't even let him see the kids when the children were born because of the age difference.
So I had the baby at 14, which was not easy. I had to have a tutor just so that I could finish 9th grade. Because of the age gap, there was a restraining order in place. My ex wasn't even allowed to come near me. But that did not stop my psycho little ass from trying to be with him anyways. I almost stabbed a girl once because she was holding hands with him. As far as I was concerned, I wanted him, therefore he was mine. And we did get married and have another child together, but obviously the relationship didn't last. I was unhinged, he was abusive, and the whole thing was toxic and doomed from the start. I'm not saying he was a good person, I'm just saying I wasn't groomed.
The reason why I take great issue with Anora basically going behind the scenes and flagging this all up isn't just because that those kids, I'm pretty sure there's 2 of them, who are actually children of his. Not only will they see that, they may feel intense sadness and shame and all sorts because that is their father. And you've got this random person on the internet throwing that up. I'm not saying you should protect the identity, but the thing is that unless you think that there is reasoning as to them assaulting or whatever a child or a vulnerable adult or someone like that. There is just simply no reason as to why you need to go behind the scenes, find this information out just to put on your channel just because you don't like Veronica. And not only that, but any sane person can very, very clearly see that this is an excruciatingly messed up situation that Veronica's probably still coming to terms with. Like, she was essentially groomed, which she says that she wasn't. So many different factors that go into this, that you must really hate someone a hell of a lot to go digging that much. I mean, she was 14 years old. She was a very little child. And you're dragging up bits about their past, which you don't need to remind them. They are the father of their children. You don't need to be reminding them. It's also none of your business. How is this related to child exploitation? Just going, gotcha, because somehow this is helping the cause. This is helping child exploitation. You're actually harming the children more, whose father that is. You're literally harming them more by spreading this information. And those kids are not little. Those are the two older kids. You're literally putting this information out there just so you can go, I told you there was something weird going on with this family. That's on the guy. That's not, that shouldn't be, gotcha for Veronica. That's a deeply troubling and disgusting thing.
I am Anora, and if you are new here, I like to talk shit about mommy vloggers, family vloggers, and any vlogger that likes to exploit their children for monetary gain.
So on one of the community tabs, it reads, could you imagine getting pregnant at 14 years old and glorifying teenage pregnancy? Oh my God. Oh my God. I've just got so many thoughts running through my head, but I'm just gonna try and press on here. Not only that, oh, my friends, this mad mama loves talking about getting pregnant at 14 by an 18-year-old man that is registered sex offender in the state of New York for not only going after Veronica at 14, but her ex went after a 15-year-old girl when he was 26 years old. She never mentions her ex-husband being a registered sex offender, but she likes to talk about how he gave her babies when she was 14. So which one is it, Anora? Is it she always likes to talk about her registered sex offender ex-husband, or she never mentions it? Because if I was her, I sure as hell would not be mentioning it, saying it to anyone. Not only for one, the amount of shame that carries, that anyone would ever do that, least of all, literally the father of your children, okay? Also the fact that she still hasn't come to terms with the fact that she was literally groomed. She doesn't mention him that often, so why the hell are you bringing it up? I'm sure as hell sure that her older kids do not appreciate having that put all over the internet. There's a reasoning as to why she doesn't mention it. There is literally a reason. Because it's disgusting. There's a reasoning why. I don't think I've ever heard her mention it before, ever. Up until you brought it up. Okay, it's not really something you go talking about. Also, glamorizing being a 14-year-old. She's not even... Okay, I don't really appreciate this, Mad Mama. Her content. I mean, I don't know the woman, right? Don't appreciate her content. But one thing for sure is the fact that I don't think she's glamorizing it. She does this whole abstinence thing with her kids. She doesn't want any of them doing anything until they're 18 anyway. Look, I know this because I've watched them for quite a long time now. And there is a lot of shame that goes on with either being pregnant or having a baby when you are a teenager. However, this mad mama obviously likes talking about it, and her having children when she's 14, doing this and that. Veronica still talks about this kind of thing. She's not glamorizing. I don't even think for 1 minute she's trying to glamorize having children. I actually think that she is mentally unwell, and even she will explain this. I mean, you can see it because she quite literally says that she was the groomer in this adult-child relationship. There was absolutely no need for you, Anora, to go and drag all of this stuff up from the internet to do what? To shame her for the fact that the father to her kids is a sex offender. How? Like, he did that to her, okay? Technically, yes, he was a sex offender when he impregnated her and they had children. But then he then committed another crime after they broke up as well, okay? And yes, it's a horrible thing, but why are you putting that out on the internet? Why are you doing that? Because you're shaming her, you're not shaming him. I don't think he probably doesn't even care. People like that don't care, okay? But all you're doing is shaming her. Someone who, she doesn't need shame for that. Like, I can't, but like some of the stuff that this woman comes out with, I mean, sometimes I then feel like, oh my God, Amy, like you're defending the people who then, defending the people you talk about. It's like, because you need to have like some humanity, and I'm pretty sure I said this to Anora last time. You need to show an ounce of humanity when you're discussing, and she's not a commentary channel, she's not even a drama channel, she's literally an horrible bullying channel where she targets one particular person and she will go out of her way to drag up anything she can possibly find on anyone when it's not even relevant just because she hates them. And it's weird, she gets like a fixation on certain people and she'll just go for it. She'll absolutely go for it. And it's bullying, and YouTube shouldn't allow that. You shouldn't be allowed to just post documents like this online. I don't give a crap whether or not it upsets the guy. I don't care. I don't know if that's getting across. I don't care if it upsets the guy that someone's posting that, but it's got to upset Veronica and their children. Do you see what I mean? It is going to upset Veronica having that up because she can't help that. And Anora seems to think that she can. The whole thing is really messed up. So Anora basically bit back to people saying that this is obviously wrong for her to post. This is what she had to say. She said, teenage girls are going to see her videos and think it's perfectly okay to have a baby at 14 with an older man. Veronica is not telling anyone or any teenagers not to make the same mistake as her. Nothing. Every 3 days, she posts on TikTok her effing 14 and pregnant story. She has hundreds of videos about her 14 and pregnant. Ignore the fact that not only was she a victim, but she herself is creating more victims by glorifying getting pregnant at 14 years old by an older man. Effing ridiculous. I had to spell things out. Okay, there's just so much to unpack here. I think what you'll find, the general consensus is that most people know that is that's wrong. An 18-year-old should not be getting a minor, a 14-year-old pregnant. Most people would be able to tell that is A, illegal, and B, wrong. Okay, I don't think she's trying to lead people astray. She's not trying to come up with ways in which she can lead a generation of young girls astray. She's very clearly just telling us her story. She can't hide from her story. She can't make it up. It's what happened. She was groomed. She technically was groomed. And she's detailed that he was abusive, that their relationship was horrible. I don't even think they have much contact with him now, okay? She's not glorifying it, but she's just telling her story. Does she tell her story a lot? Yes. Is it a bit annoying? Yes, it is. But it's still her story. And if she wants to do that, then she's free to do so. Just because I can stand up against the bullying that happens to some of these channels doesn't mean that I'm their biggest fan. It means that I can very clearly see that people are pushing it too far. Okay, people are pushing it way too far, and I think that some channels, their hatred towards certain family vloggers, mummy vloggers, it goes way too far. I think if you ever become that fixated and that made that angry by someone online on the internet who you don't personally know, I think you need to honestly log off the internet.
This is how boring she is. This is why she has to record her kids, because she's boring and has no substance. Veronica, there is nothing interesting about you.